Take one. This is the third of a series of sermons that I've been preaching on God's generosity, and then how do we respond because of what He has done for us. Well, this past week it was Luke chapter 19. The story of Zacchaeus was a wee little man was he. And as that story starts, you get this odd first verse where Jesus is just passing through Jericho. He was just passing through, which means he had no intention of stopping. But this also is in the context of a series of people who couldn't see Jesus. Between chapter 18 and then the start of 19. You start with the rich ruler who asks the question, what must I do to be saved? And then you have the doubting disciples when Jesus tells them about that he has to die, and they said, no, 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 no. And then you have the blind beggar. And now we get Zacchaeus. And now Zacchaeus couldn't see Jesus because he was small in stature. But the question it begs for us today is, what gets in your way of Jesus? Well, for Zacchaeus, being short of stature, he went running for a tree. Now, that might seem normal to us because we're so familiar with the song, but it was very odd for somebody of his status, not his stature, but his status as being a rich man and a tax collector, for him to shimmy up a tree. In fact, that sort of behavior was quite humiliating. You might say he was becoming little. Well, so often as we deal with things as people of faith, and sometimes being the church, instead of doing those things that make us lesser or becoming little, instead we do the opposite and we belittle. It's where we look down on the others, those who are not quite like us, just like that crowd did with Zacchaeus. And not only do we look down on them, but somehow we want to keep a distance from them. We want to keep them safely at arm's length, maybe not even being part of our congregation, let alone running across them in the community. And so we tend to push these kind of different people out to the margins. And oh yeah, if they receive some sort of attention, we grumble and complain because we feel that that attention is misplaced, just like that crowd did when Jesus gave attention to Zacchaeus. They grumbled because they thought it was misplaced, that they should have been the one that Jesus was giving attention to. And so we begin to feel cheated. If the pastor or if somebody within the congregation gives somebody attention that we think shouldn't be giving it, we feel cheated by this interrupter. We feel cheated by this intruder. And so we begin to stand out by trying to prove the point of our importance, that you need me. And yeah, we might pour out all of our anxieties about being left out or forgotten. But we then huddle around our ideas and we try to protect these ideas that probably are somewhat flawed. Who's in? Who's out? What's up? What's down? And as we define those things of in and out and up and down, we want to cut for our own selves. We want to make sure that what happens in the church meets my needs so that I'm taken care of. So instead of using our means and holding on to people, we begin to hold on to our means and only use it that it can benefit us, and we use people. That's the first take. Next, take two.